What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Work Faster with your boy Fox. Today we are going over my top 5 favorite stock Ableton plugins that I use regularly to get some really cool sounds out of the program. Let's get started. Okay, so the first one is Drum Bus, which is really useful if you don't have any other external VSTs that you use. So we have our basic sample here. We have a kick, some claps, some wonky stuff, just very, very basic. We have our drum bus in action. So we have it off first, and now we have it on. It just makes things a little bit more spicy, and there's a lot of things you can do. So first we have our drive, which will adjust how much additional saturation is coming through on the drum bus. We have nothing. Trim is the overall input level of what's coming through. This little nifty button is the compressor button, so that it takes the entire bus and compresses it within this little plugin. It's very useful. What's cool is that you also have extra crunch, which is more distortion. And then dampening kind of softens everything a little bit. Transient, it actually helps boost. It's essentially a transient shaper where it boosts the transient levels, makes everything a little bit more punchy. So if we start playing with that a little bit, so we hit off, and we start playing with the transient, just a little bit more click, The boom essentially creates its own sub bass off of your sample. And then you can actually tune it to what key that you want to be in. Decay is the decay rate of the boom. And then you have your overall output and dry wet. So if you don't want to oversaturate or over distort your drums, what you can do is you can go ahead and just have a dry and wet adjustment. So if we have without, we have a 33% dry wet. You can really just do very gentle adjustments to give your drums just a little bit more excitement, and it's really useful. A second favorite plugin that I like to use is something called Erosion. Erosion is not the same as a bit crusher, but it just adds enough high frequency just grit to anything that you put it on, and it really sounds good on a lot of things. So we have our sample here that I've made from our song Cardiac Timeout on House Call Records. So once you turn it on, it'll be at the low setting, and then you can, and what it does is that a lot of the times producers have kind of a neglect for the very high frequencies. So what this does is it gives a grit to the very, very high, around the 15 to 30,000 kilohertz range. Really nice. I don't know, it's hard to describe. Number 3 is Overdrive. Overdrive is great to put on almost everything because it really does just give an extra, once again, a level of grit to make any of your samples or sounds, even your drums, sound really spicy. And we have crazy. You can really fine tune how much you want, but start playing Overdrive on all of your bass samples. And sheesh. EQ8. The Inhouse EQ8 from Ableton is actually really useful and is very capable of doing anything you want it to do. I use my EQ8 a lot of the time just for simply cutting off or boosting certain frequencies. So for instance, just being able to go, if we have a completely fresh EQ without anything adjusted, it looks like this. But if we have this sub, but we don't want the sub, all you got to do, the ×4 shape is a brick wall, or at least tries to be, and you can go ahead and just shape it on down, and it looks great. It also has a really nice big view version, so you can get a very clear and cohesive understanding of what frequencies are being hit at any given time. Last but not least, I really like Echo. Echo in-house is really sick because you can create some really interesting sounds with not a whole lot of work. And with a little bit of tweaking, And then if you boost the dry and wet and you only have it wet and there's no dry signal coming through, you can create some very cool atmospheric effects. So rad. As always, thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy this video. If you like it, like, subscribe, comment, share it with your friends. If you want more in-depth tutorials and more knowledge that comes from my brain, don't hesitate to check out my Patreon at patreon.com/foxedofficial. I'd love to help you guys out, and we will see you on the next one. Have a great day, stay crazy, and stay foxed.